Returning to our top story, Cyclone Gabrielle is edging closer to New Zealand with heavy rain and strong wind warnings in place from tomorrow for some northern areas. According to scientists, climate change could make future cyclones rarer but more powerful. Corazon Miller explains.
Sprawling, swirling areas of wind and water, cyclones are a natural feature of the tropics, born over warm seas fueled by humid air.
It's the heat from the oceans that was evaporated. It fuels the tropical storms, and that's why it's related to global warming.
Cyclone Gabrielle's passing over seas that are up to 2 degrees warmer than usual, elevating its intensity. In future, scientists say the warmer climate could make cyclones less frequent as stronger winds stop storms from forming.
But when they do happen, they tend to carry more rain, and the most intense ones are expected to be much stronger. They're being fueled by that energy, that extra energy that climate change has already put into the system.
And once they form, they could take longer to clear, prevented from moving on by stronger bands of warm air.
We do know that these blocking high pressure systems are becoming more persistent. They're sticking around for longer,
making for more hot, humid and grey North Island summers like this one. But experts say scenes like these aren't inevitable as long as we plan ahead.
Warming is going to keep on going up for a while, but we can actually make it so the impacts go down from each successive event. We just have to plan and prepare for it.
Regardless, after that, the future is sort of quite dependent on whether the world manages to reduce its emissions and get to net zero.
The effects of a changing climate becoming clearer storm by storm. Corazon Miller, One News.
There will be destruction. That's a message from officials in Auckland. They're warning of widespread damage to houses, trees and power lines, urging Aucklanders to make a plan and be ready to leave their homes. Jacob Johnson has more.
Final preparations underway. These Defence Force trucks stocked with stretchers and other essentials bound for evacuation centres across the city. The Emergency Coordination Centre also busy. Staff monitoring the cyclone's movements and organising last-minute logistics. The Mayor dropping in for a visit.
Be prepared and have a plan. Take it seriously. We are. You can see what everybody's dead busy in here preparing, and I think that's essential.
Aucklanders were scooping up the last of the sandbag supplies at this station today to fortify their homes.
Well, as the cyclone gets closer, many here at this West Auckland sandbagging station say it feels like Groundhog Day. Some of them live in areas hit hard by the floods 2 weeks ago, and they're worried about what this storm could bring.
The water was knee deep, but never know what's going to happen in the next 2 days.
With the creek behind us burst the banks and was pretty much up against our back fence.
Further north, kite surfers in Orewa were taking advantage of the swells. But the message is, stay away from the water.
This is the entree, okay? Even if we had not seen the flooding Friday 27th, the rainfall forecast numbers are high. They're above warning amounts for Auckland, and the wind gusts that are forecast for Auckland are top end.
The Prime Minister meeting with transport officials today, with Aucklanders advised to stay off the roads if possible.
My main message to people across the country is to take the severe weather warning seriously and to make sure that you're prepared and to follow the guidance that's being issued locally.
There are concerns many parts of Auckland are still vulnerable as the flood recovery continues.
There will be destruction from the cyclone.
We can expect to see with these winds things like trees coming down on power lines, further blockages to roads. There is also that additional complication of coastal erosion being caused by those coastal surges.
Auckland on high alert as the cyclone rolls in.
The North Island's most unwelcome visitor of the summer, leaving a trail of destruction in its path. Northland was the first to feel Gabrielle's fury. Slips closing many of the roads connecting the region's small communities. Then it was Gisborne's turn. The closure of State Highway 35 cutting off the people of Tairāwhiti. There's no phone or internet coverage either. And last night, Coromandel was hit. It's now completely inaccessible as slips closed all the roads in and out of the peninsula. So how are those communities coping?
So the east coast of Hawke's Bay, really the focus of today's rescue efforts. Let's get the latest on what's happened in Hastings. Tia McDougall reports.
After hours spent stuck on the roof, help finally arrived. A gift from the heavens in a form of a helicopter. At huge risk, these men were whisked to safety. There was no other option. Just look at all the water. It's no surprise the same rescues were repeated hundreds of times across Hawke's Bay. Helicopter after helicopter after helicopter. And with each trip, a fresh load of heartbroken people in utter disbelief, left with nothing but the clothes on their back.
Yesterday, north of 300 people were rescued in Hawke's Bay and are currently being cared for at civil defence centres.
Farmer Todd Morris is one of them, rescued after 5 hours on a roof, leaving behind his flooded land and beloved dogs.
It was intense, but yeah, especially with dogs on sitting on the roof, and then Chop comes and picks you up.
While he and the rest of the evacuees at the Hastings Sports Centre are devastated, they are alive.
Sadly, we've lost 2 lives, both in the Hawke's Bay. This is incredibly upsetting for everyone involved, and my thoughts are with the family and friends as they face this tragic loss.
From the air, it's easy to see just how deadly Gabrielle became. Home after home, completely destroyed. Only the roofs of some were visible, painting a picture of just what people like Ross Cocking went through.
I managed to get out and get onto my roof, and then waved a boat down, and he came and got me.
He made a brave effort to share his story, but it was still too raw to live through again.
I live at Pakawai, so we drove up to which is only probably 500 yards. We drove up to see the river. It was flowing really fast, and so we came back home. Then one of the neighbours had pushed bike down from down the road, said, "Oh, the river's breached further up. It's coming this way." Within 5. Sorry.
He lost his house.
It's not just homes destroyed, livelihoods too. Entire orchards submerged in metres of water, and livestock no longer in the fields they once roamed. A region still in survival mode. Tia McDougall, News Hub.
It is incredibly wet, and police, as you probably are aware, police have confirmed that a child was found dead in these waters in Eskdale. And they've confirmed that they are still missing people out and about in the area, and they have grave concerns for their well-being. There have been over 1,400 reports of missing people. Some of those might be duplicates, but obviously that's an alarming number, still unaccounted for.